in our high school, in the local area, which economic system would be most prosperous to create wealth for the middle, lower, and upper class, for all people over the next 100 years. 28% said capitalism, 40% said socialism. The rest said they don't know the difference between socialism and capitalism.
Which was really the more intelligent answer.
Yeah, I'd rather have them not know because there's opportunity for education.
Right, that's exactly what our group is doing. Turning Point USA has turned into a national movement. It was launched June 5th. We have over 20 to 25 national chapters, and we have 30 to 50 student columnists from all over the country that contribute to our website. We give them a platform of empowerment, so they can write something, they can publish it, they can show their friends, their family.
You have a website. How specifically are you reaching out to this percentage that don't know the difference? And then re-educate that other 40% that is obviously misled.
We're doing it in 3 specific ways. Number 1 is Facebook and Twitter. Social media is extremely important. We have 12,000 likes. We're on the cutting edge of social media for young people. The second of which is in July. We're hosting hopefully one of the biggest debate tournaments in the Midwest. We're planning to have 300 to 400 high school debate teams come and debate fiscal policy. The third is a very innovative way that we came up with. We're hosting a 3-on-3 basketball tournament to get young people to come and play basketball. They leave with our t-shirt and they leave with a little bit of literature. It's innovative, it's new, it's fresh. Not many think tanks think to do a basketball tournament. And that's the way we reach kids that are usually apathetic or they don't know, because we go to where they are. And that's what's innovative and creative about Turning Point USA.
Slim, I give Charlie Kirk a bunch of credit of getting young people to become Republicans. You seeing that clip, do you feel like, Charlie Kirk legacy lives on, and what he created with Turning Point is going to be something that lasts forever?
I hope it lasts forever. I don't think anything lasts forever, for one thing, but it is definitely a positive movement. And that dodo bird you had on here Monday, I really want to get at him because he was definitely a clown. Yeah, man, Charlie was definitely a strong voice, man, and I watched him for years. And, just basically in that clip, man, he didn't single nobody out. He said all people. You need to let that keep going, man. All people. That's including black, white, whatever. You know what I mean? He said he went to the neighborhoods. That's urban situations. That's basketball. That's, I'm sure, predominantly black people playing those games. So these are things that I like to point out because a lot of people like to change narratives on a lot of things. And back to this whole Epstein thing, I'm with Enzo on this, man. I'm tired of hearing it. You a dodo bird if you still thinking the Epstein files gonna change something. You a dodo bird if you ain't see the damn files that was released. And you a dodo bird because all you looking for is Donald Trump's name to be in the damn files. The hell with the Epstein files. Everything going on in this country is way more vital than some goddamn paperwork. I digress.
Well, y'all serious about the Epstein files, but what's going on now is Charlie Kirk text, and Candace Owens is saying that Israel has something to do with him being deleted. This is what she had to say.
Knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
Mia, you're the conspiracy theory expert. These text messages are real, and you know Candace is getting a lot of flack from the right, but people are saying that she's a great friend to Charlie. Do you feel like she's hurting Charlie, or she's a great friend?
I think she's a great friend. I'm going to be honest, out of everything that's happened since the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated to just this moment, she has been the only person that has shown any sort of genuine concern, remorse, genuine emotion. She's the only one that has been like a dog with a bone trying to get to the truth, not his wife, not his supposed friends, not the Trump administration. She is the only one that has legitimately shown that she actually cared about him. I like her concern for him is extremely genuine, and she's not going to stop until she gets the answers that she wants. And to be honest, I hope my friends go hard like that for me if there was any suspicion that somebody had unalived me on purpose. I'm sorry. I just hope someone does that for me. I mean, nobody in his family, nothing is even doing a fraction of what she is doing. So, I mean, I believe her. And Candace, for whether you like her, whether you don't like her, she's a pretty good investigative journalist. She's pretty good at it. She's not terrible at it. So, I mean, she seems to feel like she's on the right track, and I believe her.
Well, this is her talking about Charlie Kirk being deleted.
3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, you know, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
So, Ken, she also talked about a dream she had. So this is the type of stuff that they're using against her because she's saying that it's a premonition. It was also a dream. So do you feel like that discredits her?
No. And let me say this too. And I'm getting to the age of, it's crazy because you start talking like these old niggas. Like, but I'm being an unk now. So you get into the age where you can see iterations of a person, right? So I've seen iterations of Candace. You know what I'm saying? And I like it. I like to see iterations of a person. And I think that's the one thing we'll miss about Charlie Kirk, because that was a very talented individual, young individual, right? And I think a lot of times we are very critical and hard on people that the frontal lobe just finished developing, right? That's not their finished product. So when you start touching this 40 piece, you get to watch people grow up. You know what I'm saying? And we be talking about 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, 27-year-olds. That's not their finished version. And when I'm listening to Candace, I've got to watch her the last 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, have different iterations of herself, right? And I could tell she is up all night going down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? So I'm just, I do worry about her because what she is talking about is a system that is too big to fail, and their reach is very easy to make an accident, something happen to you look like just some common accident, and the public mind is so turned off, they'll accept it. Just some random shit happening in your house, carbon monoxide, or some random shit happening in your Final Destination shit happening in your house, and people will move on. So I respect her because she's going at a big enemy. That's not a baby enemy. That's a big enemy with large resources, and that enemy that she's going after controls American politicians. So someone from here can push energy to her based on them. So that's what I do worry about. That's not a small enemy that she's going at. That's a huge enemy with long capital. In fact, they control the money. So shout out to her.
Before Doc and Enzo respond, I'm going to play what Charlie Kirk co-worker said about text messages.
Loyal to people that he had shared history with, right? He was asked, I think this may be what you were about to say, Blake. He was asked about Candace before in public, and he would always say, listen, we're friends. He would never say an ill word about her. And if people, tried to force him to do that about Tucker or whatever, he would always be defiant because he didn't want to be morally blackmailed.
Exactly. Charlie was loyal to people who had ever been friends to him, whether it was very old donors or just people who had worked with Turning Point. And as long as they were not attacking him, he would not air any dirty laundry or, frankly, any disagreements he had with people. He did disagree with Candace on the Israel issue. He disagreed with Tucker on the Israel issue. But he also recognized Tucker had positions they agreed on. Tucker was a useful voice in the conservative movement on many things. And so he invited him to events, and they were popular events. And so he would react. Sometimes people would just say, yeah, don't invite him, or we're going to, cut off some large donation. And that would make him angry. He would say this, yeah, as you say, this is moral blackmail. And he's this Scottish guy. He's combative. His reaction to that is, the classic, like, screw me, no, screw you, that sort of thing.
He had, and it's one of my favorite parts about Charlie is just how defiant and independent he was. Yeah, he was never going to be.
He could not be controlled by other people.
You could not buy him. He was not bought and paid for. You could not control him with money. It just wasn't the way he was wired. He didn't actually care about money that much.
And so what's going on here? You guys can look up what the text say. What is going on is Charlie, as I mentioned, he loved Israel. He cared about Israel. He cared about the Holy Land. And he was aware there was a surge of anti-Israel sentiment on the right. Charlie thought seriously about this issue and was trying to chart a path forward for people who were sympathetic to Israel. He was playing the good cop here. He was saying, you guys don't realize how bad it could potentially get. Mm-hmm. You have to change your PR. That's why he writes a letter to Bibi. You are losing the PR war. You need to change how you do your PR. You need to change your messaging to the American right. You might need to change what you expect from us, that you're not going to be able to count on just, for example, unlimited military aid from America. That's just not going to be tenable going forward. So maybe it has to be a more passive relationship. Maybe you need to give more support towards America. Some more support towards America in, for example, opposing Islamic migration into America. That's one thing he thought we could ally on. And he was trying to do all of this because he cared about the relationship and wanted to chart a way forward on it. And he would feel angry and upset when people would react to this by blowing up and suggesting he was an anti-Semite or a hater. He would get angry about that because he knew it was untrue. And then he would sometimes vent about this. Yeah. He would vent about this to people who understood that, who were pro-Israel people who shared his view on that issue.
Well, exactly. And just why I, didn't share this publicly, it was because this was a private message between Charlie and some people, some Jews and non-Jews, where he was, frustrated. He was frustrated. And that would have felt like a betrayal to my friend because he never said anything like that publicly in like a show, right? He said things with Megan that were very, like, we just played them. I went on Alex Clark's show and I felt like I did a faithful job of expressing what I believed his genuine feelings were.
So, Doc, basically, they didn't want Tucker Carlson going to Charlie Kirk's event. And basically, because Tucker Carlson was saying negative stuff about Israel. Now, if I'm black, if I'm paying an organization millions of dollars, they talking trash about black people, I'm not going to want to give them my money. So do you feel like they're rightly being accused because, I felt like that guy had a right to not give Turning Point his money?
Yeah, I feel like the guy had a right not to give Turning Point his money. And
the Candace Owen thing, I know people giving her credit for it, but for me, it seems like she dragging it a little bit for attention. You know what I'm saying? If somebody killed my friend, I ain't gotta release a name every day, every week. You know what I mean? And I get people say, oh, what Kim was getting at when he said, the machine she's going up against. But when did there not be consequences for these ideals you had? Martin Luther King got sprayed with water hoses, attacked by dogs. People risk going to jail. At some point, if you believe in something and that's part of your ideals, it might cost you something. It might cost you your life. So it comes down to, do you truly believe in it? Is that truly your friend? Are you really willing to get down to the bottom of it if it would cost you everything? And I don't think she is. I think she's dragging it a little bit for attention, in my opinion. And I mean, if you don't align with what we got going on, we're not gonna give you our funding, and it's gonna be on you to. Charlie Kirk started this vision from apparently just in his community, working with the kids in his community. So, he's going to have to decide, if he was going to take that money, if he was going to back out on his friends. And apparently that's something that he was not willing to do. So, he apparently was willing to stand behind and suffer the consequences for his ideals.
So, Enzo, it's a lot of anti-Israel sentiment coming from the right. Not whether it cost Charlie Kirk his life or not. Was it the right decision for Charlie Kirk to not be as pro-Israel for his business and for his career?
No, I mean, there's certain things that he's not going to agree with. That's really what I'm going to chalk it up to. This whole Candace situation, I'm going to say this very bluntly and how it needs to be said. He's a bitch and needs to shut the fuck up about this. I've been watching it from the beginning. I've heard every conspiracy that she's come up with. The midget in the trap door, all the text messages, which half of them have not been confirmed. All of this stupid shit that she's been saying. If this was my friend and I was unalived by some foreign country for whatever reason, right? I wouldn't want my friend going around every single day posting lives, talking about it, saying, I have this information, I have this information, I have this information. I would want my friend to literally just make one video and say, if I'm unalived, this is why, with all of the footage and everything like that. This is a cash grab. This is for her to stay relevant. If she really was his friend, she wouldn't be dragging his name to the mud like this. She would make the one video and say, if I go missing, you know why. That's what it would be. So I don't think she's a good friend. She literally had the opportunity to go to his funeral in Arizona. And she said, you know what? No, I'm going to stay and listen to Kanye Power. That's how I'm going to reminisce on my friend. I don't want the feds to get me for talking about this. That's what she said exactly. So I'm so sick and tired of her. She just needs to shut her damn mouth at this point, dragging this man's name through the mud. Because who really knows what's going on behind the scenes? Who really knows if somebody else is looking into it just because they're not out there on a podcast talking about it every single day? And I'm sorry, like I'm never really one to say this all, but this blame Israel for this entire thing is just ridiculous too. There's really no ties to show that they did anything. I said it in the beginning. I go, okay, cool. If the dude who ended up unaliving him just goes missing, ends up dead somehow, maybe I'll believe into that. Maybe I'll play into the whole blame Israel for this. But no, he hasn't. Not everything is a conspiracy. I love my conspiracies. I really do. But not everything is a conspiracy, guys.
Well, if you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Great show, guys. Doc, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, great episode. Bro should have got to Cuba, man. They caught him out there in the A. He should have got to Cuba and got up out of here. And I think one of the biggest things at the end is that your ideals at some point may cost you something. When the rubber meets the road, are you willing to
to suffer the consequences for what you believe in, the same way you're willing to profit off of the things that you believe in. I think there's a lot of people willing to profit off of things they believe in that aren't willing to take the downsides and the downturns of those things. And that's just a staple of America, I guess, now these days. But everybody have a good night.
Enzo, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts were this was a good episode, like always. Really thing I'll only touch on is the political theater about this Epstein shit. Y'all need to find a new talking point. You literally run it into the mud. You guys don't care about the victims. Guys don't care about anything. You guys don't care about the people who actually did anything, because if you did, you'd have the same energy for the names that we have out there. Once you guys start having the same energy for those people, then we'll start talking. I can care less about any of you that tout around release the files until we see some hands in cuffs for the ones who actually did something.
For sure. Ken, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts is, my heart goes out to people that have a genuine belief in the society and, a fantasy about it being better and being more than what it is, and integrity and equality and all that. I would just encourage you to peel back the layers of ancient civilizations, because American civilization, the British civilization, is just a continuation of shit that was going on 5,000 years ago. And if you really get your investigative hat on, you'll see that there's bloodlines that have ran the last 2,000, 3,000 years, right? They'll give a little bit of power. They fund both wars. And I just feel sorry for the people at the bottom that need to believe in something, and you get caught up in this shit because you're a good person and you would like the government to be good. But the government is based on priesthoods. The government is based on occultism. The government is based on sacred geometry. All the shit that they tell you is demonic. That's the government, and their gods are not your gods. You know what I'm saying? So the gods that they tell you are bad, that's what they use. That's what they go off of. This is the Truman Show. This is Bizarro World, right? So my heart just goes out for people that pick a side and have a genuine need to believe that there's a possibility that the things that they are hearing is not true. But that's the only thing, man. Believe in yourself, and if you go down the rabbit hole, start from 5,000 years ago, then come back, and you'll see that our government is in the same image of ancient civilizations. There's no difference.
Mia, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts tonight are this marks the 3-month anniversary of Camp Mystic in Texas, the 27 little girls that unfortunately lost their lives in a flash flood. And I think we should dedicate a moment of silence for them. I hope their families are healing, and I hope those little girls are at peace.
You want a moment of silence?
Yes, please.
Mia, thank you for your final thoughts. Slim, what's your final thoughts?
Oh man, great show, guys. I'm gonna be with Ken on the Candace Owens thing. I've been watching Candace for a long time. She's grown, but she's definitely distraught. She's hurt. And again, that's her friend, man. And I think that's what she's fighting for. And I've been watching, ever since this happened. And she did say something that really, really made me think. She said the only two people that's going to make her stop doing what she's doing is Erica Kurt or her husband. And none of them has said anything yet. So I know that there's something more to this. Again, the conspiracy things, I'm with you, E, on that. But again, that was her friend. And she looks at it like, if it wasn't for Charlie, there wouldn't be no Candace Owens. So that's real powerful. So with that being said, man, good show, Man Cave.
For sure. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Great show, everybody. I'm glad that we was able to get breaking news. If people didn't know, Trump just started the first phase of the peace deal. The hostages are supposed to be released, so we'll keep bringing y'all great content. We'll keep bringing y'all great guests. We actually have a guest next week who's on Jubilee. So she'll be on Monday. I don't know what Nora will be talking about, but be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Man Cave. Have a good night.